Finally, sorry folks, we're running a little bit late. We had some technical difficulties tonight, but I think we got them sorted out. Anyway, welcome to I-12 GIA, the voice of experience. For this evening, we're going to be discussing, well, it's 9/11, so it's on everybody's mind at this time of year. We're also going to be having a little discussion about Benghazi. We're going to talk a little bit about the history of why 9/11 is a significant date in the Islamic community. And then we will finish it off with the debate from last night. You're only going to have the three of us. It's going to be Trainwreck, Rennie, and me, because Nomad is on a flight again somewhere over the Gulf of Mexico, or somewhere. Who knows where he is? Okay, is everybody awake? Everybody ready?
Yeah, wide awake.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Some semblance of order here. Okay, well, let's get going then. Rennie, you got the most experience with 9/11, so why don't you go ahead and tell us your story?
Sad that the experience was bestowed upon me, but it was. I was there it was a firefight. I was there on 9/11. I got a lot of medical issues from there. Worked 12-hour days in the pile. I don't let it dominate me like a lot of people do. I've learned to live with it. That happened for me after Robert O'Neill killed bin Laden. I sent you some pictures of the newspaper article.
Yeah.
That's what kind of put me over the top. So I was good after that. So
you got some closure because of that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody paid a price they had to be paid, for what they did. So,
yeah,
I mean, for every story you're going to hear tonight, I got 1,000 more that I haven't told you.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's a rough experience for everybody involved. Today was, well, we'll talk about that later.
And I'm still paying the price today.
Yeah.
With World Trade Center illness. So.
Yeah, you got a pretty good payout from that, right?
I did.
Finally, the government got their shit together.
Look at all the years it took, but I still got the diseases in my body.
Right.
Those are never going to go away.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Trainwreck, I know you have some thoughts on this whole 9/11 thing.
I wasn't there, and because of my background, I kind of approached it from a different angle. It's thinking about how we can prevent what went wrong, and that's how I kind of prepared for tonight. And that I think the public needs to understand some things before I even get into that, and that is, our government doesn't do things because of right or wrong, good or evil. We do things because people in power, political power, believe it's in our interest to do it. And once they commit to that, that's when all the spin trying to manipulate the American people to buy in on what they want to do. An example of that is tell everybody that they have weapons of mass destruction, specifically nuclear weapons, to go into Iraq. That's the type of manipulation I'm talking about. But we do that because the politicians that we have in power at that moment feel that it's in our interest. And that's what gets aircraft carriers moving, right? It's not a matter of good and evil, right or wrong. It's simply that people in power believe it's in our interest to do that. But since then, a lot of things have happened with our federal agencies that I think we need to address. And the cultures that have developed in these agencies are so toxic. The only way to get away with it is to just dissolve these agencies. Now, before people get upset with me, let me tell you, I'm not suggesting that the people with specific skill sets that we really need, I'm not saying fire them. That's not what I'm saying. Nor am I saying they need to go to jail coming up. That might come into a factor. I'm not saying that. Those guys did what they were told to do because the politicians felt it was in our interest. But we do need to dissolve and maybe recreate or build a different agency like we did with Homeland Security. because the cultures are so toxic. So that's where I would begin with this. Um, somebody
Okay.
got something?
Yeah. So you're okay. So you're looking for specific, like, for the rationale behind 9/11, cause and effect, and so forth. Or what are you after?
Yeah, and the reason the justification that I would be to take action so we can prevent this in the future, right? Even though our agencies were supposed to communicate together after 9/11, we all know that still doesn't happen, right?
Right.
Because knowledge is power. So if the CIA gives the FBI some information and they do something with it, the next budget year, the FBI is going to use that to justify more money, and the CIA is going to get less because they didn't do anything. So people don't share. And there's probably other reasons. That's just, one of them. You know,
Correct me if I'm wrong. Homeland Security never existed until 9/11.
that's exactly right. And that's kind of what I'm talking about here. We break down some of these toxic agencies, and we might have to rebuild some others. And we take the people that we want to keep, and the mission of some of these agencies is critical.
So if
But
I
doesn't
had to
mean
make
this-
an educated guess, I'd say the first one that's on your list is the FBI.
Oh yeah. It turns out, yeah, that's exactly right. FBI is the first one on the list.
I'll
Um,
second that.
And it's because, I'll just give you, there's hundreds of reasons, but I'll just give you some of them. The FISA court. They go to the FISA court, they lie to the FISA court, and there's no accountability from the FISA court. So I also suggest we get rid of the FISA court, right? Because they're not holding people accountable when they lie.
They just reauthorized the FISA court in that new budget. Budget.
Yeah, and Renee, nothing that I have.
And it's all top. It's all top secret shit, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
You don't even know who the judges are.
Didn't they release some of the judges' names when they were talking about Carter Page, and when we discovered that that one attorney had altered one verbiage in a memorandum that was part of the warrant application, and they found out that they twisted the verbiage to mean just the opposite. Carter Page had been in some way related to the CIA before, and they put in there that he had not, and it was part of the warrant application, and that somehow that guy was sanctioned in some way, but I think he's still an attorney, so it was really like they didn't do anything. And take one of us, if we would lie to any court, let alone the FISA court, we'd be in jail, right? There's no accountability for any of this, right? So the judges aren't doing anything to keep people in line, right? So I haven't even got there yet, but the FISA court, I definitely would suggest just get rid of it, because they're not, and figure out a different way to deal with the top secret and the secret stuff that you're talking about, Renee.
Yeah, the FISA court wasn't created to deal with Americans. The FISA court was created to deal with foreign terrorists. It was never intended to suck Americans into it.
Right.
But they did.
But they did.
So in addition to that, and we haven't really even got there, the other thing I would do is I put term limits on all politicians at the national level. Absolutely.
You can't, because the Constitution spells out your representatives and your senators. You'd have to have a constitutional suspension.
We could amend it. We could do another amendment, right?
Yeah, but for that you'd have to have 2/3 of the states agree to it, right?
I didn't say it would be easy. I just believe it needs to be done.
But once you open up the Constitution, you open up to everything. You open up the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, right on down the line. So,
Renee,
you're treading on water that may or may not be deep.
Yeah, it might be, but my opinion is we still need to do it. I don't know.
If you're looking for term limits, a better suggestion is voting him out of office.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but we both know that's not going to happen because
We
the
tried that in New
country is
Hampshire
too.
yesterday with
too-
somebody that's running for governor. It backfired in our face. She won by a landslide.
Yeah. Let's stay on 9/11, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Well, I think this all reconnects to 9/11 because if you deal with these issues, right, you're not going to have the problems in the future. So, at face value, you might say they're not connected, but I truly believe all of this could affect what happened. Might not be direct, but 2 or 3 layers apart. I think all this stuff is, I think there ought to be a ban on all lobbyists for politicians when they get out of
Yeah,
office.
yeah. I understand what you're saying, but we're getting way off topic here. We're really not. We're not diving into the ways to make. It's more for 9/11. It's this is the
Yeah.
23rd anniversary of this memorial. We're
All
really just
right.
kind of focusing on saying a little bit about what happened during
Yeah.
that particular day, and then moving on to Benghazi and then we'll get into something else. And then once we get past Benghazi, then we're going to talk about
All right. Well,
why it's a significant date.
All
Um,
right. Thanks for the guidance. So let's focus on something like that. How about the Wahhabi radical sect of Islam? 11 to 12 of the hijackers were from that area.
Yeah.
We really need to focus on that, try and figure out how we can mitigate that sort of stuff in the future, just from them.
Right.
But I think the problem is so complicated. You really have to dig down into our government and deal with that before you can get in anywhere. These agencies that don't talk together, they all think that they're king of the hill, right? The CIA is no longer doing what they were originally envisioned to do, which is to just collect unvarnished intelligence and bring that back to the office of the presidency, right? They're no longer doing that. They've got an action arm, right?
Yeah.
And the culture is so toxic. The only way to fix that is keep the people that we want to, get rid of it, and then put them in another agency or set up another agency where they can do what they were originally designed or envisioned to do.
Yeah. Yeah. The 9/11 Commission has found a lot of reasons and a lot of excuses and a lot of the shit behind this. Prior to coming on, somebody was talking to the guy the colonel that's running Pineapple Express, who has probably one of the best intelligence systems in effect in Afghanistan right now, was saying that OBL's son is planning another attack here at some point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So let's talk about Benghazi a little bit, because that's also another September 11 issue, 2012. Okay. Again, just every year I watch
13 hours.
13 hours. I watch 13 hours every year, and every year I get more pissed off and more angry, and that's why the pirate ship is in the back with the skull and crossbones for take no prisoners. Yeah, that's a very unfortunate. I cannot, we've all of us have. We're the voice of experience, right? We've all been there. We've all done that shit. We've got the T-shirts, got the scars, got the burns, got the nightmares, everything goes along with it. How the fuck is our government so incompetent? I mean, I expect so much better from them. And one of the things that always got my attention working with state was they'd show up out, we're in the middle of some field out someplace knee deep in mud, in a bunch of mud huts with camels and monkeys and everything else. And we got these people showing up wearing dresses and high heels with a helmet, and those old blue, remember those old blue 14-pound vests wrapped around,
Yeah.
and wearing dresses and shit and suits and ties and, what? Come on, people, get in the boat and row. What the hell are you thinking?
So,
I mean, who leads these? Who's responsible for handling these idiots?
So, having been with State Tool, let me say this: I was told when I started there, you like your job, and I said, yeah, and they said you won't talk about Benghazi, and you won't talk about Hillary Clinton. Now, that being said,
Fuck that.
I was told by someone that the reason that Chris Stevens was sent there was to try to cut a deal to buy back weapons that had been
Right.
sold to Gaddafi, and that's why the shit went south.
Yeah.
That's
But
why he was there.
but that's not what our government told the American people when it happened, right?
I'm just telling you
Apparently,
what the facts are.
Yeah.
Our government hasn't told us the fucking truth since I've been born.
right. And I think not only is it important for us to understand what happened, it's important to understand how we can prevent it in the future. And that's really where, I come at this. And the same people that were involved in 9/11, guess what? They were involved in that too. Same people making these are the political figures, same people making the same decisions, and disaster happening. And my brothers and sisters are the ones that spilled the blood in Benghazi.
Mhm.
And I can't overlook that.
Oh, I agree completely. That's why we're talking about it.
It makes me want to vomit. And I think that today there's kids growing up that didn't experience those times, and they don't realize what really happened.
Trevor, I don't want to bust your bubble, but that's an issue that's not ever going to be fixed now.
No, bust my bubble. It's okay.
It's not ever going to. It's not. Chet, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel very strongly about this. It's an issue that's never going to be fixed because it's too
It won't.
convenient for them to use.
It is the same people that were involved in the original 9/11 and in Benghazi and in Abbeygate and in the evacuation of Kabul and everything else that's bad that's happened over the last 25 years or so are the same fucking people. All the
They're
same.
still around.
Let me push back on what Renee said just a bit. Respectfully push back, right? And that is, maybe you're right. Maybe it'll never change, but it definitely never change if we don't freaking try, right? So we got to try. We got to talk about it. We got to get people to think about it. Maybe after they hear us, they'll think about this differently. They didn't know before, right? But we got to try. Right? We just can't say, in my opinion, we just can't say it'll never happen, so we're not going to do anything,
Yeah.
right? The same people did this over and over and over again.
Yeah. But they're still there, though. I mean, God damn.
And we need to get rid of them. I don't know how we do that.
Yeah, by legal means of voting, and vote them out of
Oh
office.
yeah, I didn't mean.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I didn't mean.
Well, having an idea how
that
to
came out wrong.
Yeah.
having an idea how to fucking get rid of him would be a really great start.
If that's the way you guys took what I said it
No.
really clumsy.
No,
And-
I just wanted to
that's not
clarify.
what I meant.
That's
You
not
know.
how we took it.
I know. No, I was just clarifying for the FBI and whatever
Yeah.
NSA and
Oh, I get
whoever
okay,
else
yeah.
is listening to us for
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Good evening, gentlemen.
yeah. It's like you never say bomb on an airplane. That kind of thing. It's just got to clarify your intentions. You would say that you had a, like whatever. But anyway.
Yeah. I think what happened in Benghazi is unforgivable.
Yeah, it is. They just left those guys to hanging out to dry, and it would have been so easy to fix too. And the guys that actually work for a living were ready to do something about it. We're ready to deal with that issue. The fact that they wouldn't do a flyover is just inexcusable. That would have been so easy, and it would have made a massive impression. But
Susan Rice. Who the fuck is Susan Rice?
yeah,
I don't want to get myself in trouble. I could really describe her in 2 words.
yeah,
But who the fuck is Susan Rice?
Yeah.
Gives the order to stand down.
yep, exactly.
And let me push back a little bit on what Fogg had said. You said they were. I think what you said was they were incompetent. But let me push back. Is it incompetent or is it corrupt?
Corrupt.
Which one?
Corrupt and
Or a bit of both?
I'll give you both.
I'm gonna, the corruption. I mean, there's a lot of corruption there too. But in this particular incident, I think it was more a matter of incompetence than anything else. Security was lax. Not security. The contractors and the DSS guys were, right on their game, but the management was incompetent.
I suggest that the corruption started when they wouldn't fly in the other guys to help. That's where I draw the line. That's unacceptable. Where those guys they flew in and they got stuck and they were in another area for a period of time which delayed their getting into country. And
Well, okay, I understand what you're saying, but how is that corrupt though?
because the decisions not to let them in, not to go, I
That's
think
incompetence.
it's the intent. It's
What's
the
the
intent.
payoff? What's the payoff though for the corruption thought? I mean, who? Because you got to have, for somebody has to benefit from.
You're talking, yeah, I hear what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah.
You're saying legal corruption. What's illegal corruption? Well, I think it all boils down to what their intent was. There's no justification. Let me put it differently. There's no justification, reasonable justification for holding them up. And I guarantee if you talk to the guys that eventually got in, I'd almost guarantee they would agree with that. No reasonable justification for delaying their entry.
So let me go and hit the fucking corruption part for you. The corruption part is the fact that the U.S. State Department, under the tutelage of Hillary Clinton and maybe John Kerry,
That's what I was after.
sold illegal weapons to Muammar
There you go.
Gaddafi. Okay,
There you go.
and they
I knew I
wanted
was-
the weapons back. That was the payout, getting those weapons back. And they sent Chris Stevens to do it.
Yeah,
And
that
it
was a
all
political
fucking
payout.
blew up in their face.
Exactly.
That's why, just like the raid on Abbottabad, those SEALs on that helicopter had to fucking die because they knew the truth, okay? That's why these guys couldn't get out of fucking Benghazi alive because they had a story to tell. All right? So I just gave you a corruption.
Let me add to that corruption. What about the delay in letting the QRF that was on the CIA
That's the
base
incompetent. That's the
delaying
incompetent.
them? I still am caught up on what was that guy's. Well, first of all, what was his name? Who is the guy in charge? What was his name? And what was his real intent for delaying? Was it just because he was scared? Right? I might be able to forgive that. Right?
No, I think he was following orders. Okay, let's fillet this just for a minute, okay? Because Randy, you hit it right on the nose. That's what I was after with the corruption part. It's political corruption. You got Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Susan Rice, Valerie Jarrett, right? With the Iraqis or the Iranians. That's where the political corruption comes in. Now the incompetence part. The chief of station was his last mission. He wanted everything to be quiet and peaceful. There was a secret base the annex was secret, supposed to be secret, because the the Obama administration under with Hillary Clinton as the State Department didn't want we the people to know what Rennie just said, that they had sold all these fucking Stinger missiles to Gaddafi and they're trying to buy them back from fucking African warlords and everything else who he had distributed them out to. They didn't want us to know that. That's the political corruption. Okay, so you got a secret annex, you got a CIA base. Remember, they said it's not an embassy. That's an annex. The annex wasn't an embassy, so as a result, it wasn't afforded the DSS protection that they would usually have. Marine Corps, the Marines, so forth and so on, that would usually be issued because it's a secret. Nobody wanted to know about it. So I would assume that the chief of station, or imagine that the chief of station Benghazi was told to keep it secret and keep it low profile, which they completely fucked up. The incompetence came in when they rented the annex from some fucking Libyan warlord, right? We're in the wrong place. It's this multi-million-dollar mansion. It's like, I think one of the quotes was, "This is a sniper's dream." That facility. So we didn't have the protection, and so forth and so on. That's where the incompetence come in. After all this shit started happening, they didn't. Why the fuck were those people? Why the hell? Why did they have to hire some Saudi Arabian oil billionaire to fly these people in to fly the QRF and the cavalry in, basically, and to take our people out? Why? Where the fuck is the American military? Where? It goes on. We're not done yet. It's got to keep going. The bodies had to be taken out. I think it was what the hell was it? I forgot the nationality of the country. It was an African country somewhere. They were loaded up on some fucking airplane from some African country and flown out. That survived the body, including the body of the ambassador. Now that's but the secret's gone. It's no longer secret anymore. None of this shit's secret by this time.
You guys got my competitive spirit going up. So let me add this. When it comes to the corruption part, right? Renee likes evidence, facts that he can stack together to build a to build a case. So let me add this. The moment they came out and lied to the American people about why this was happening, that goes to intent, right? And that intent, we're talking about the corruption piece, right? When they come out and lie to the reason this was going on, when they knew it was a lie. That's the intent part that I would hit at. And the other thing is that base being supposed to be secret and stuff. Well, when the cat's out of the fucking bag and it's go time, then it's fucking go time, right? They already fucking know, right?
Can I give you your intent?
Give it to me, brother. Give it to
So
me.
on a Sunday morning, Susan Rice went on the talk shows, and Dinesh D'Souza had done a film on Benghazi. Okay, and his film basically highlighted how they sent Stevens there to try to buy back the weapons they had sold to Gaddafi because they didn't want it to come out. Susan Rice went on Sunday morning talk shows saying that Benghazi was a result of pissed off Arabs and Muslims over the false fake movie that Dinesh D'Souza made. And they actually put him in jail for a fucking year. And that it turned out to be a lie, and they proved it. Okay? So there's your intent right there.
I'm with you. I'm with you. You spelled it out. I loosened the jar. You opened it up. I loosened it up for you, Renee. You didn't get there all by yourself. You guys got my competitive spirit rolling. So
all right. So that gives us 2 complete and total clusterfucks that our American government, 3 actually that are
with the same people involved.
With the same people involved in charge. It's just all right. We're going to have a short history lesson here now. Okay. So I was hoping that Nomad would be able to join us to because I wanted to see what his reaction was going to be when I go off on this. But anyway, we're going to have a short history lesson. So I'm going to click over.
The silence is deafening.
Yeah. Man, I love the way you put stuff, Renee.
Dude, I say it like it is. If you don't want your feelings hurt, don't talk to me.
I'm with you. I've been holding back.
That's been my whole problem my whole life, my mouth.
Well, mine too, but yeah. Where does
Plus, I worked
go?
with all these fucking apes too, so I had inside knowledge.
Yeah. I think that I think what you brought is awesome. The fact that we actually have somebody that was there in the building. So what happened to Fogg? Did he just quit? There you are.
Yeah, there I am. Well, that didn't work. Apparently, I can't do that with this. Okay. Anyway, we're going to go back to our hit. I sent myself out into cyberspace somewhere. All right. So just bear with me because I'm going to have to read through some of this. I don't have my fancy graphics and other shit to go along with it because apparently the computer gods are pissed off tonight. All right. 9/11 is a significant date in the Islamic culture. Okay. Starting with the Battle of Vienna. In 9/11, 1683, they got their ass kicked in that battle.
By the Crusaders.
By the Crusaders, yes. The fight for Christianity in Vienna, Austria. The next up for that's number 1. The next up is the Great Siege of Malta, which was on 9/11, 1565. That's when they got their asses kicked by the Crusaders. And there's a lot of stuff going on in that story. There was like 600 600 Knights of Malta on the island. Just for those that you that don't know, Malta is a very tiny island off the coast of Sicily, in the Mediterranean. So there were 600 knights there, and they pretty much decimated 40,000 Islamists or Muslims, or whatever you want to call them at that time.
I love it. I fucking love it.
Oh, I do too. They did some pretty horrific things. They had knights. Well, all this kicked off when I think it was Suleiman the Great. I think was the one that started all this. So he kicked all this off by throwing some headless knights in why the hell am I getting feedback from something? Sorry, guys, we're having technical difficulties again. That's weird. Okay.
I'm not getting anything, so it's just you.
Okay, yeah, that's just be mine. All right. Anyway, he decapitated some knights, put their headless bodies on crucifixes, and dumped them in the ocean. So one of the knights that was in a watchtower saw these logs floating in. That's what started all this. That was the beginning of the battle. Okay, so he sent his 40,000 people out there, 200 ships. They had siege engines aboard the ships that were capable of launching like 2-ton weights, several miles. And they had a very long and drawn out siege, and they got kicked out of there too after the Crusaders or the Knights of Malta finished them off. So that was in 1565. Now the next one was September 11th, 1609, when the Muslims were expelled from Spain. After 800 years of they were in Spain for 800 years, and they finally just got tired of them and said, "Get your fucking ass out of here! You're done." So they kicked them out of Spain. And then number 4 was the Battle of Zinja, and that was 9/11/1697. Now these are all significant turning points for the Islamic culture and religion. There's a theory that that's the reason behind September 11th, because I'm pretty sure. Because I know I've wondered why September 11th, why that particular date, and the theory is that might have something to do with it.
I like that theory because it establishes a pattern for them.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think you could add a couple dates to that if you just figure out why they hate us so much, not necessarily by date, but the things that have gone on, not beyond that, but during the early part of maybe the 20th century that took place that added fuel to the fire.
Why do you think they hate us?
Well, I think it's an in-depth reason, but I would start with the fact that we gave Israel to the Jewish people. 1948, we stood up and recognized Israel as a country. I would say that goes to a significant part to it.
I'll go you one better than that. Throw that one out the window. Get you if you can't get it, I'll get you one. Copy the Quran. Read the Quran.
I don't have one.
You're an infidel. That's what they hate you. You're an infidel.
That's fine. I'm sorry they feel that way.
Well, that's how they feel. That's why I was saying last week, and I get toned down for it. They only understand one language, because their end goal is world dominance. They don't care how they're going to achieve it. They'll behead you faster than they would want to look at you.
Every week you're giving me another book to buy. This is ridiculous. Now I'm getting a Quran.
I'm just saying, it's all you can get on Amazon. I've read it cover to cover.
Well, I'm gonna get it.
Does it? And if you don't want to join Islam, then you got to pay a tax.
That's right. And then you could stay Christian as long as you pay the tax.
As long as you pay the tax. But they still have the right to behead you. And if you're gay, stay the fuck away from parking garages, because that ain't going to end well for you either.
Just for everybody that's listening to this, I can only speak for myself. I'm not gay.
Me neither.
I can't speak for these other two, but I am not. Just for the record, we're clear.
Yeah. I think the next major battle, I think, is going to be religious in nature. This happened before throughout history. Well, all those dates on 9/11, those were all based on religion, right?
Yeah.
Christianity versus Islam. We might as well just admit it and quit pussyfooting around it and worrying about offending or racially profiling people or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's going to happen. It's, history repeats itself if you don't learn from it. We've learned absolutely nothing.
There was only one true American patriot that tried to fight back against Islam. Anybody have any idea who it is?
Yes. Oh, son of a bitch! And
There we go. There's a picture. That's the
yeah,
battle.
that's one of the battles. That's the Battle of Malta. Yeah. Oh shit! And not Andrew Jackson. What the hell am I thinking?
Come on, Chet.
Oh man.
He was a general.
Yeah. I had a brain fart. Go ahead.
Blackjack Pershing.
Pershing. That's right.
He hung a bunch of Muslims in the Philippines. He left their bodies hanging from a tree so they would get the message that he wasn't there to fuck around.
There was actually one before that too. I believe it was a naval commander, naval.
That was
admiral.
just the last century too. I think that was 1920 he did that. So
Right. Yeah.
that's fairly recent.
Well, you can go up to 1953 too, Renee, which we talked about last week. That didn't do us any favors either,
No.
Well, yeah, it's but where I was going with that though, is it's not going to be between nation states. It's not going to be between China and America, or Russia and China, or anybody else. It's going to be East versus West. It's going to be Christianity versus Islam.
Yeah.
We might as well I hate to say it, but that's what's going to happen. I'm afraid at some point in the future, it's going to get that bad. I saw a map today of Germany, and there's like 8,000 mosques in Germany now. Europe has pretty much fallen, it seems like, and it's really sad.
We got areas here in the United States where they're playing prayer announcements 5 times a day in the cities.
Yeah,
Michigan,
Minneapolis. Yeah.
People are pissed off about. I when I was overseas, I lived through that shit.
Yeah, same here. As they should be pissed. Yeah, as they should be pissed.
But
but
to have that happen here in the United States of America, totally fucking unacceptable.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody says.
Yep.
So are we going to continue? Are we going to talk more about history or?
No, we're done with that. And actually, it's about time for a break, fellas. So let's go for about I don't know, maybe 3 minutes or so, 5 minutes. All right. And I'll set us up for a break here, and we'll be back. Stick around, folks. This is we're just kind of letting it all fly. We're just winging it tonight. We're just talking shit and having a good time. So hopefully we're educating and entertaining, as the voice of experience is known to do. So let me get my countdown clock here set up.
Yep, I gotta go.
All right, folks, we are back. Hopefully, everybody's here. We didn't get lost in cyberspace again.
No.
I'm here, Fog, but both of you
All right.
guys are, well,
Well.
I and Renee are black screens on mine, but that's okay. I don't need to see me.
I can see you.
And I'm fairly certain Renee is glaring at me, so
No, seriously, you can't see
Oh,
yours.
it's the glow
No.
off his head. Oh my God.
That's weird. I wonder why not.
yeah, it's okay. It doesn't matter to me. Let's keep moving. I mean, we're live.
Well, yeah, but no, it's okay. We can deal with this. I'm sure our gazillion viewers will understand if we're having some issues here. But you should be seeing all of three of us here right here. Yeah, okay. But all you have is a black screen. That doesn't make any sense. You're on.
Yeah, no, yeah, me and,
Yeah.
and Renee,
Yeah.
we're top right screen, but we're just black boxes. I can see you.
Wow,
I can see you.
But here's the thing. Doesn't matter. We're on
Okay.
we're on the clock. Let's
All right.
we'll figure
well,
out the rest later.
Okay, Randy, what do you want to do with New York?
Go ahead. Put the pictures up. I'll explain them. People get a little bit of a history what they missed.
Those. No, we don't have those pictures. I thought we were not. That's my mistake. No, you did. My mistake. I thought we weren't gonna do those. So yeah, we're not gonna. Well, I guess we're not doing New York then. I thought you were talking about something else. Oh shoot. Well, okay. Another technical difficulty for the ninth then. All right. The debate.
The debate.
It's disappointing.
I stayed up and watched the whole thing.
God, did you really? Holy crap.
I love Trump. I think he's awesome, but I was disappointed in the performance. And she did nothing but lie, and nobody checked her on it.
Well, that's the point. You shouldn't be disappointed because they fact checked him all night. They didn't fact check her once. It was 3-on-1.
Yeah, I just think every time he spoke, he should be talking about the fact she's been there for 3.5 years, hasn't done anything. The American people have no expectation. He said it right at the end. He should have been saying it through the whole thing, hammering that message through. 3.5 years, you haven't done anything. Why do the American people have reasonable expectation that if she's in office for the next 4 years, she's going to do anything different? And she didn't give anything but general ideas of what she's going to do. As an example, they'd ask her a question. She says, we're going to continue to work on it. But there's no steps involved there. What specifically are you going to do to make things better? She could never answer that.
That debate last night didn't sway anybody that's supporting Trump to Kamala Harris, and it didn't sway anybody that's supporting Kamala Harris to Donald Trump.
What about the independents? Where are they going to go?
Sway the non-committed, but polls are still showing that a lot of non-committeds are in Trump's corner.
Right.
So,
yeah, everybody saw it.
That's why if Donald Trump would be smart, and he is, he would not do that second debate that they're asking for.
Well, they said the mics weren't supposed to work when they weren't talking, and they worked just fine.
No, they were off.
You could hear, well, maybe you could just hear them, but if you can just hear them, then the mic's issue doesn't matter because people are hearing both people talk at the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were. She was yelling when the mics were shut off, but Trump shouldn't. The only reason they asked for a second debate right away is because they know they lost that one last night.
Yeah. Somebody said earlier today that they thought Trump was nervous, and I watched a little bit of it and said, no, he's not nervous. He's pissed. You know, he's
I thought
trying
he was
not to.
angry.
Yeah, he's trying not to. You know, not to do his normal. Let's rip their heads off and shit down their necks routine, which he handled that pretty well, actually.
Yeah. Plus, you know, he's got to be careful how he handles a woman too.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and that's why
Well,
she
you
didn't
got to
want
be
the
careful
mice
how he handles a woman of color who doesn't know what her historic background
We
is.
already had this conversation once. She's not a woman of color.
Yeah.
Jamaican and Indian don't add up to black in my book.
Well, that's
Well,
my point. Well, at one moment she's Indian, another moment she's African American, and she's just saying that because it's politically,
She never
it's in her
claimed.
interest to make that claim.
I
right?
never heard her claim to be African American. It's
It wasn't on the debate stage.
it,
She
the
did
rest.
that.
It was all of America that's supporting her that says she's black. She never said she was black. Everybody's just saying she's a woman of color.
I thought she did when she told that marching in the civil rights parade ceremony thing as a child, when she said somebody asked her what she wanted and she said freedom or some such nonsense. I thought she said she was more as a black. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I try not to pay all that much attention to her. But,
I don't know.
okay.
All I know is
Regardless,
Jamaican and Indian don't.
yeah,
add up
she's
to
not
black.
either way. She says she's. It's kind of like, you know, like what's her name saying she's Cherokee, which she's
Yeah.
like a
Elizabeth
infinitesimal
Warren,
amount.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren. That's how she got hired by Harvard, by checking that box.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's the lie. It's just going to come.
But
to
a
screeching
lie
halt.
is a lie is a
It's a
lie.
lie. Exactly.
Once it's out there, it's like pointing a gun and pulling the trigger. Once that bullet leaves the barrel, there's no calling it back.
Yep.
Once that lie is out there and you've heard it, you can't unhear it.
That's right. That's why last night on the stage she was saying all kinds of lies, and there are some Americans that will just believe it because they heard it. Doesn't matter if it's true
Right.
or not.
Yeah.
Then
what do
there
you
were people, then there were people that wanted her to purport those lies. So, there's
Did
some
you
very wealthy donors behind her that are pushing her.
Yeah. Did you guys have you guys heard about the earring controversy?
Yeah. So Howie Carr is a prominent radio talk show host in our area in Boston.
Mhm.
Howie Carr kind of debunked that today.
Did he? How did he go about doing that?
He said he goes, that's false information. It's not true.
Based on what?
He didn't go into details of how he come about his
Imagine
information.
that. Everything else is looking pretty good because there's a whole bunch of pictures. You can go to the website and it shows the earrings that she was wearing that are actually a communications device.
Yeah.
Somebody did a collage of pictures of her from the past. Well, since the beginning of the administration. Anytime she's giving a speech, she's wearing those same pearl-looking earrings.
Yeah.
So somebody was basically feeding her the answer.
Feeding her information.
Yeah.
Which is my question. I mean, 2 weeks ago, she couldn't put a fucking sentence together without cackling like a psychotic hen. And now, she's pretty much on when she's talked, she's pretty much on point. Those aren't her words. That's got to be coming from somebody
The
else.
only reason I bought into Howie Carr's thing is because he's always at Mar-a-Lago with Trump. He's big in Trump's corner.
Yeah, I just got to look at the evidence. It's kind of like one of those. You gotta. It could be right, but then without more information, then I just don't think so. That's not going to get it. So, and it actually does make sense in a lot of ways. She was pretty much. Nobody's real happy with her. She did not do herself any favors last night.
Guarantee on November 6th, she goes back to the extreme left.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, she said something about she plagiarized Joe Biden's State of the Union address today when she said that she was going to be the president for all Americans, which is the exact same thing that Joe Biden said previously during his State of the Union. He said he was going to be the president for all Americans.
Well, according to President Trump last night on the debate stage, not only did she do what you just described, but she just took Biden's policies, copied and pasted, and stuck them on her so she would have something there. Because at the end of the day, she cannot explain the specifics of what she intends to do to make America great again. She just can't. She used
Right.
generalities that are good for a certain portion of our population, but the people who are actually critical thinkers, who listen to what she said, she didn't say anything. She was talking, but she didn't say anything.
And then you have she's saying, well, her administration will be the administration of change. All right, Kamala, you've been vice president for 4 years. So are you saying that the last 4 years you've been the vice president, everything's been a complete disaster and you're going to change it?
And that's
saying?
right. And that's exactly what I was talking about earlier. You know, that's what Trump should have been hammering home.
Yeah.
Every time he spoke, the first thing he said was, "You've been there 3.5 years. Why do the American people have a reasonable expectation to think it's going to be different when you're president?" Right.
Right. Exactly.
And I don't think that's a reasonable expectation. You're going to get exactly the same and worse, just like Renee said. Worse. Right.
How about when she even lied? I picked up on it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised nobody from Fox News picked up on it. When she said one of her goals would be to buy foreign energy, oil and gas at cheaper prices than we're paying now.
Are we going to buy it from Russia? Is that where she was going with that?
But she didn't say where. But then, on another question, she said she was in favor of fracking. So if she's in favor of fracking, why are we talking about going out and buying energy elsewhere when we get it right here under our feet? So that says to me she's not in favor of fracking.
Yeah, everybody got a chance to peek under her skirt last night, and I don't think it did her any favors.
She didn't have a skirt on. She had a pantsuit on.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. A la Hillary. Something else she stole from Hillary.
Metaphorically speaking, we looked under.
Metaphorically, yeah. Medical. All
right.
Yeah.
Now we'd have to talk to Willie Brown about the other thing. Did you see that thing when she was at some party? I guess, and somebody came and said she was Willie Brown. So are you his daughter?
I posted that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
You know her? No.
Yeah. If she does win this by some fluke, we're all going to be lost as a nation.
I'm going to hop on it again. There's a
I know
big difference
you
between
do.
winning and stealing.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Okay, here's another thing that's really frosting my ass. So, supposedly, I couldn't get a start date on my new job because the government was going to shut down because the Republicans weren't even going to talk about a budget until they had a bill passed saying voter ID for everybody. Now today, Mark Johnson pulls the vote saying he hasn't got enough support for it.
For what? For the
voter ID.
Voter ID. Okay. Oh, really? That's
They pulled the vote. The vote was scheduled for today. Cancel the vote.
Okay.
So you tell me what the Republicans canceled the vote on it. So now you tell me.
Right.
Can I say something that's kind of
by all means
off subject?
Please.
Right. Okay. If President Trump hears any of what we put out, I'd like to say he's welcome to come on the show to be interviewed at any time.
Yes, that's an excellent thought.
I'd even be willing to come in on a different date, different time. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday.
At his convenience, if he wants to talk to us.
That's right. That's
That
right.
actually would be kind of fun.
He'd probably chime in by phone.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun, actually.
That's why we get a phone number.
I just want that out there.
But being fair and balanced, we got to extend the same information to the camel toe.
Oh no! Who says we have to be? It's our show. We don't have to be fair and balanced. We can be whatever the hell we want. Let fair and balanced for those.
I'm not going to be a part of allowing her to spread lies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, all she would
but
do,
then see,
and that's just more people to hear.
See, you're missing a golden opportunity here. Then we can ask the tough questions.
Okay, all right.
Maybe we can do that. Yeah.
All right, I'll buy into that. I'll take part if okay.
All right. Well, I'll get right on that then and see if I can't round those two up for yes. Hey, stranger things have happened, man, especially tonight. I don't know what is going on this evening. Well, fellas, I'm assuming all this is working. Hey, can somebody go over to YouTube real quick? And
It's working. I've
working?
already
Okay.
talked to a buddy of mine who's watching the whole thing. He said that I look better than both of you, and that both of you look way older than me.
We are.
And I told him that wasn't polite or politically correct.
Listen, if you could do me a favor, I say you might email me his address. I can send him a check so he can go get his eyes checked. All right.
I don't know, fellas. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about tonight? What do you think?
Yes, one more thing.
Okay.
Once President Trump gets in office, and this kind of circles back to preventing another major tragedy, we need to really focus on massive deportation of the people that entered our country after or during the Biden administration. And if they had children, in my opinion, if they had kids while they were here, kid can stay, mother can go, be up to the parents' decision what they want to do. But if you came into the country illegally, specifically during the Biden administration, we need to go and just clean house. Drop everything else, clean house.
I'd have to research the anchor baby law, but I think the anchor baby law is similar to foreign national marrying American. Once the baby's born here.
Yeah, if it's born, yeah.
That's why I say the baby can stay.
The parents
baby can stay.
The parents can stay too.
Okay, well, they can stay in prison because they committed a crime. So either way, they're not going to be out in public. That's my opinion, right? If you want to keep them because of that law, that's fine. You get to go to prison for committing a crime. Baby goes into state custody.
But in the meantime, if you can't, the baby's an American. Why would it go in? Why would you want to stay custody?
Because the mother's going to be in prison for committing a crime, trespass.
You got to change the law first.
You got to change the law on that first.
But I understand what you're saying, the intent.
It's a crime to come. It's a crime to come into America illegally, is it not?
Not if they let them, and not if they
have waivers
not if they make them all legal.
Okay, but wink, wink, nod, nod. Bob's your uncle. They didn't officially allow them to come in. They just didn't do anything about it. I think that's a significant difference than we let them in and then they have a baby. They came into the country illegally.
Right.
We just turned a blind eye to it.
If they allow them to vote, that's case closed.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we need to get them out.
That's a great topic.
In 56 days.
Yeah, that's a great topic for next week. Don't you guys think?
I get it, Aaron. Yeah, I get it.
I get you what you're saying, but let's
train shut up. Yeah, I get it.
That's an excellent topic for next week. Okay. Yeah. I'm asking, is that a good topic for next week?
I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah. Okay. You guys got anything else you want to talk about next week? Because we're coming up on our end of our time here. What do you guys want to do next week?
I say we stay current on current events. Whatever the news of let's use Monday as a cutoff. So whatever the major headlines are Monday night, that's what we go with.
Okay.
I'm okay with that.
We use Monday at 9 p.m. as a cutoff.
Okay. Unless are there some exceptions to that? Like if aliens land on the White House lawn and or a giant meteor strikes.
You stand a better chance of seeing Satan eat a fucking popsicle than you do a fucking UFO landing on a White House lawn. So,
well,
I'm not going to lose sleep over that one.
Stranger things have happened. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so current events. Well, we do want to talk about how to deport. How many are we? Like 11 million, 10 million? illegals?
No, it's closer to 18 or 20 million.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
that's the
20
number
million.
I
Okay.
heard.
All right. So how specifically, how are we going to deport 20 million illegals?
You know, the realistic answer is you're not going to.
No, but we try and we get as many as we can. That, I don't think we approach it like it can't be done, so we don't do it. I think that we drop everything else. We use local, county, state, federal, everybody,
Yeah.
and that's what we focus on.
Yeah. I mean, it's been done before.
Not to pop your balloon on that, but
You've been doing it all night. Keep going.
locals have the right to say no, as we have seen in the past.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. But all we can
It
do
all
is
boils down
try.
to states' rights. If a state says, "Hey, I don't want to be involved in it. I got nothing to do with enforcing customs immigration. We're not going to do it."
Yeah. I think
ICE
Eisenhower.
is on their own.
Yeah, Eisenhower deported a bunch of illegals.
I bet
didn't
you. I bet
Yeah.
you the state of Texas participates 100%.
he? Yeah.
I'm willing to bet. I'm willing to bet the state of Ted Cruz is in a tight race. I'm willing to bet Texas goes red this time.
Yeah, I think
I get
you're right.
questions about. I get questions about Abbott. I really do. I got questions about Texas. Texas is not solid ground, guys.
Hey, do you guys want to talk about next week? You guys want to talk about immigrants eating animals and shit, or eating pets, cows,
Yeah.
cat, or eating ducks and chickens and
Yeah,
people's pet cats and.
yeah.
I was watching an interview today with a Haitian lady who says, "Yeah, this is all this shit's Valerie said," or she said, "It's not only for food, but it's for like voodoo rituals, and that's very common in Haiti is doing all this stuff."
It was
Yeah.
in the city manager's interest to deny that
Yeah.
accusation
Exactly.
instead of going directly to the source, which is what members of the Trump administration did. They went straight to the source. And it's in the people's interest to tell the truth, where the city manager, it's in his interest to say what he said.
Yeah, in spite of the 911 tapes and things that are out there, and because we're all too stupid to know what we hear and see, or believe what we hear and see. Okay, so Haitians eating pets.
Yeah. Let me say one more thing about a source. A source could be a talking horse.
Of course. Named Mr. Ed.
Of course. A horse is a horse. Of course.
Of course. Yeah, his name is Mr. Ed.
Yep.
Right. But you weren't born yet. Or train wreck.
Go right to the source and ask the horse.
I'm taking notes. I don't know. Is it another book or something? It sounds like a rhyme book or something.
I think it's a TV show. That's what the name of the TV show was, Mr. Ed.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, fellas. I think we probably speaking of horses, we pretty beaten this one to death. So I think we're going to go ahead and close out for the night. All right. Trainwreck, say your goodbyes, buddy.
Hey, I appreciate just being here. I love talking to you. Hear you guys push back on my crazy thoughts. I think it's awesome, and I appreciate everybody that listens to this, and anybody that might comment. Let's not make it personal, but even if people disagree, comments I think are welcome. That's how we solve problems, is talking to people who don't agree with us.
Yep.
Ready?
All I got to add is thoughts and prayers for the loved and lost on 9/11, both in 2001 and 2012.
Yep, without a doubt. Okay, for the future, we're going to be doing we're trying to get some affiliate program stuff set up, so maybe we can actually make a little bit of money doing this. And that will be hopefully coming up in our next show. We'll set that stuff up. In other words, how that works is we're going to advertise stuff, and if you buy shit and click on the link, then we get paid, apparently, or something like that. I'm just winging all this shit. I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. But anyway, we're going to figure that out lately. Okay, so we saw what we discussed tonight. We try to entertain and educate as always. Next week, we're going to be talking about how do we deport a gazillion illegal aliens, and why the hell are they eating our pets while all this is going on too. Plus whatever else comes up. But
they haven't got their food stamp card yet.
Yeah, with the cutoff date of Monday at 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., So unless, because Liddy says a UFO is not going to land on the White House lawn, so we don't have to worry about anything between Monday and Wednesday. And on that happy note, we have thank our sponsors, I-12GIA and Peace of Mind Training. And I think we'll just go ahead and say goodnight, folks. Give the ones you love a big hug. Keep them close and prepare to self-rescue. So we will see you next time. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everybody.